What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today. It is the 5th day of December, and here we are sitting at about $0.005 right now with 8 hours and 13 minutes left in this day. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. Here we are. We did drop a little bit yesterday. We dropped just below 0.005. Here we are. We can go a little bit below this low. We've talked about that even since the day of this low, that it is completely possible that we see a slightly lower low or even something that takes us below 0.004 before we actually start to move up. But the move up is happening. It's programmed in there. It's coded in there. We're just waiting on it. So whether it happens from here, happens from down here, happens from down here, wherever the case may be, we likely do move back above 1 cent very, very soon. I would assume by the end of this year that we're back above 1 cent, if not higher than that. But time will tell. And with that, just imagine a move right here. 1 cent is right there. Imagine a move that takes us to 1 cent. That would be one of the largest moves to the upside that we've seen, if not actually the largest move that we've seen since April. And with that, we would certainly be breaking out of this downtrend here, breaking out of this trend. And with that, we'd be breaking, I think, out of this overall phase here. Now, I don't expect that what's going to happen is from this high to where we are now that we're just going to straight skyrocket all the way up above that high. Maybe it happens. That'd be nice, a nice overall skyrocket move like what we had back here. But before this move happened, first and foremost, it didn't happen at the lows. The lows happened, you moved up and you consolidated for months. And then you had a really nice move up. Then you broke out of your overall consolidation phase. You actually had your breakout move. And it wasn't until, this was December. It wasn't until January, about a month and a half later, that you actually had your escape velocity move here. What we're doing right now might be setting up for the big move, and in which case maybe we move up to 1 cent, something like that. We consolidate, and then sometime in January or February, that might be when the real big move happens, where we actually do proceed to higher prices than this. It might be February that we see higher prices than this. It might be January. It's possible that it could be by the end of this year. But sometime in the next 3 months, I would expect that we are above this price here, and sometime by the end of this month of December, I'm thoroughly expecting that we will be above 1 cent. Probably right around this area here of about 1.3, 1.4 cents, because I think that's a significant area within this range. It's kind of like the central point where you found support, you found some significance back here, you even found some significance right here in the midst of your voluptuous move. It just seems like an area that makes sense, that it's almost like it's got a magnet to it. And we probably have a date with destiny back up there. Looking at this on the daily time frame, looking at the RSI, we still do have this bullish divergence that's pronounced right here. It's actually double bullish divergence. We have some bullish divergence on our stochastics as well. And the MACD does have bullish divergence, but we just haven't really seen a move come out of that yet. So I don't know. I don't like that we've got so much green here and that we're just consolidating. It definitely adds to the idea that we go lower. The RSI and the stochastics, even with the bullish divergence, overall they're very bearish. So perhaps we do come down, we further that divergence a little bit more. But any kind of downside price action that we're expecting or that we might see should not be anything that you're afraid of. Or maybe if you're afraid of it, you can sell, but this is probably the worst time to sell. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. We're literally at the worst levels to sell. Even if we are expecting lower prices, I wouldn't sell. I would just hold personally, and that's what I'm doing. If we're looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, zooming in a little bit because we have some price action, some chop, we can actually use our indicators. It's not this sideways madness. Looking at this here, the RSI, to be fair, it actually kind of looks good here. I actually like this. It's almost like you've broken out of this, right? This little downtrend here. And now you're finding support at the 40. You're kind of consolidating right below the 50. I don't know. I like it. Well, it just went down. If only it was up higher, then it would be better. If we close this candle red, then I won't like it because then we're rejecting the 50 and breaking through the 40. If this candle can close green, ideally a little bit higher than it is now, and just get a really solid push off this 40, that could imply good things. But good things on the 1 hour, we move up to 0.054. We're at 0.005 now. That's not even a 10% move. Maybe a little bit more. I don't know. Stochastics are choppy. Not really helpful. MACD is green, but that's not really helpful either. You're overall bearish on the MACD. 4 hour time frame, looking at this, we do have some, I wouldn't say bullish divergence, but a higher low here and a higher low in the price as well. The stochastics look sad. The MACD also looks sad. I mean, all of these indicators, to me, they are suggesting that we do go lower. The only thing that's got my hopes up that we don't go lower is that there's this kind of double bottom look here, but we've seen that plenty of times. And then also we're moving down without volume. But we're moving down without volume. We should reverse. Why aren't we reversing? Why is it that down here when we found support it was like this, then the second attempt was like this, and now it's just flatlining? That makes me think that we're going to go lower. Probably lower than this low. So I would brace for impact, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I would brace for a drop, a shift coming in the coming days, low to high here. We probably, I mean, look at that. You're finding resistance at the golden ratio here. We probably do see prices down at 0.004 to 0.036. Again, even with that expectation, I'm not selling. Because that is, I mean, that's quite the fantastic drop. Anything from 27% to 16%. Nobody wants to sit through a loss like that. But in the grand scheme of things, we've already sat through so much loss. It's just really not worth the risk, in my opinion. Because at any moment now, whenever we do move up, like it could be one day, one day that we're back above 1 cent, right? And then there's no going back from there. There's no give backs, right? So this is not really what I'm worried about missing out on. It's this move that I'm worried about missing. So I would just buy more. I wouldn't sell. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I do believe that we go lower with that being said. So if anybody wants to de-risk, that's up to you. Entirely up to you. Looking at the weekly time frame, we are at areas of prior resistance to find support. We could, of course, go lower to prior other areas of resistance to find support. The weekly time frame on XCN BTC still looks very, very bullish. There's some very, very bullish implications there. We look at the weekly time frame here on XCN BTC, and we have bullish divergence on the RSI, higher lows there. You've got bullish divergence on the stochastics, higher lows here, and bullish divergence, of course, on the MACD as well. So you've got bullish divergence on all three indicators on your weekly time frame. I can't imagine that we have too much lower to go, right? From here, from a low to a high, we're right at the golden ratio. We're right at prior areas of resistance versus Bitcoin here. I can't imagine that we go too much lower, and or that I also can't imagine that it's too much time before we see some type of spectacular break here, which is probably going to be very similar to what we saw back in April of this year. That'd be my guess, but I don't really have anything else that I want to say. Hit the like button, subscribe. Again, I'm not calling for prices that are below 0.004, but it could happen. It's certainly in our repertoire of forecasted outcomes. We could go all the way down to 0.034. That would be the lowest. 0.034 would be the absolute lowest that I could foresee us going down to. Likely we would bounce from there with rapid recovery, or from any of these levels that are below the low that we put in on the 21st of November. I hope I'm wrong, and if I am wrong, that'd be great. That'd be phenomenal. But if I'm right, this is probably the area that we go down to. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves. Do expect probably over the next week some downside, and then hopefully Christmas week or the week before Christmas we should be moving up. Take care. Bye-bye. See you later.